Welcome back to the real Joseph Labin. I am Joseph Labin on Topic Blitz. My man Mike Antonace on this Tuesday. Mike, what's happening?
What's happening, brother? Just chilling in my domicile. Been keeping up on the NFL news. Bunch of coordinators, bunch of coaches getting hired. We're on the last round of that now. Senior Bowl season is here, which is my favorite and the Browns' favorite because um, they picked almost 2 to 3 players out of the Senior Bowl every year for the draft. So watching the Senior Bowl kind of gets you a good idea of guys that the Browns are going to be interested in. But yeah, it's an exciting time. The Super Bowl might not be the most exciting. It's not the one America wanted. I know it's not the one I wanted,
No.
but it is what it is. I never thought I'd root for Brock Purdy in my life, but yeah, whatever.
Go Niners.
Yeah, go Niners. Ugh,
Go
it
Niners.
just feels
I'm
so
rooting for the
wrong.
Niners.
It feels disgusting to just say.
One thing I like,
But that's
I like Christian McCaffrey, Chase Young, and Boza. Obviously, I mean McCaffrey works with Laird Hamilton, one of my favorite
yeah.
role models. So
I mean, one of my favorite players in the NFL is Fred Warner because I think Fred Warner. He's the player that I think should be talked about more because Fred Warner is like a Hall of Fame talent that just I feel like. The only reason he's overshadowed is because he's on a team with the Avengers. like there are so many other players on that team, but Fred Warner, if you take Fred Warner out of that defense, they're not the same defense. That dude can do it all. That dude can tackle, he can blitz, he can cover. I love Fred Warner. He's one of my favorite players in the NFL. Best linebacker in the NFL by far, if you ask
you
me.
have to Sean Gibson, who bought a car from a couple of our guys. So my dad
Oh,
included. So yeah, shout out to Sean. Rooting for him. So, but Mike, we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna start off though, Mike, with the first question that we both I wanted to get into, and will Ken Dorsey be the play caller next year for the Cleveland Browns? As the Browns have hired Ken Dorsey as new offense coordinator on Sunday. We broke the news live here on our Sunday Live. Go check that out after you watch this. It was a great show. Oh yeah, Mike, you want to give an update on your car? I know some people were wondering what happened.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Just a
Everything's
few
fine.
scrapes and scratches.
So let everybody
We're
know.
good.
I got a text on air. I was like, Mike said someone smashed his car. So I'm like, all right, we'll make
Yeah,
sure he's all right.
it happens. It
Yeah,
happens. Little
everything's good there. I just want to clear the
driveway
air.
fender bender.
Yeah, but so Ken Dorsey now the offensive coordinator, and I said on my show on Friday, I did on my episode I did by myself. I was talking about Deshaun, what he said about T. Higgins, on why I think Kevin Stefanski should give up play call. And I read a bunch of stuff. I reached out to a coach, former coach. He gave his thoughts on it. He kind of agreed. Well, Joe Flacco was on the Alta Cleveland Sports Show this morning, or late morning, noontime, whatever you want to say. I don't know. It's 11 to 1. Shout out to them. Great interview, but he mentioned something in the interview. I think Adam the Bull asked him a question about it, about coordinators usually call the plays, or they not. This was the first time in Flacco's career where the OC didn't call the plays. And Joe Flacco gave an interesting response, kind of some of the same points I gave on Friday. So I'm going to play the audio real quick. Again, this is courtesy of USCC. Go subscribe to them. Did I say that right? Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Wait, no, UCSS. Excuse me. I misspoke. My bad. UCSS. I'm thinking of something else. Anyways.
I'm dyslexic.
I'm thinking
You would have been able to push it right past me. I wasn't even. I wasn't on the way.
I'm used to USC. You're like US.
Yeah.
You're not used to saying UCSS. But shout out to them. Yeah. But so I'm gonna play the audio real quick, and then Mike and I will get into it. Uno Momento.
Well, this was actually the first time that the titled offensive coordinator wasn't actually calling the plays. I think most people probably view the offensive coordinator as the guy that is calling the plays because that is, ultimately the most important part about being a coordinator. But here's the thing is a lot of the times, I mean, pretty much I would say all the time in that situation, the play caller is the head coach. So as a head coach, you have so many different roles throughout the week, and you want to be able to manage the whole entire team. And you also still have to leave yourself time to be able to prepare yourself to call a game. So that means that you can check in on meetings here and there, with quarterbacks, but you also want to do it with other people. You also have to leave time to yourself to be able to develop in your mind how you're going to call this game. So now the offensive coordinator, the titled offensive coordinator, obviously helps out with that and brings his experience, but he's also the guy that's able to run those meetings, not only the quarterback meetings, but he's able to run all of the offensive meetings and speak on behalf of the guy that's calling the plays. And I think to have people that speak the same way and that can relay those messages, it's really important. When you have these types of situations, you need somebody that you trust to be able to do that. Because, like I said, the head coaching job just pulls you in so many different directions. And I'm just saying that from kind of an outsider. I mean, I have a little bit of a view on it because I see it every day, but it's not like I've actually been through it myself. But it's a heavy load to be a head coach and a play caller, whether that's offense or defense, because, listen, it's an important part of the game, and there has to be a plan that goes with that. So to find that time to carve out for yourself is really important.
Joe, with that.
And so that's Joe Flacco, folks. Giving his thoughts on it. He pretty much said the same thing I was saying last week, what the coach said to me as well. I'll keep anonymous. Going back to some of the same points from that show, you have to obviously understand the game at a high level, but the coach said to me also that you don't want your play caller to feel emotional ever. You want to be no emotion, obviously, when you're calling plays. A head coach has a lot going on, like Joe said. You're pulled in so many different directions, and you have to get the team up. But I think that's why I think Ken Dorsey will be the play caller. I know Jason Lloyd, some other reporters think the same thing. Which I think it's a smart move by Kevin. Doesn't mean Kevin's a bad play caller because he's not. I think he's actually really good. I just think he's a head coach, though. He's not an OC. So I think Kevin's going to make the team player move. I think it's what's best for Deshaun, which is most important because they need Deshaun to get back to that elite form. And I think having a guy that is not only the OC that he can work with, as a former player now in Ken Dorsey, but he's also calling the plays. There's more of that dialogue and comfort. Same pretty much what Tom Brady had his whole career with McDaniels and O'Brien and a lot of great quarterbacks. And so I think that's where it's going to be headed. I think Joe makes a lot of great points. And I think Kevin is actually a better CEO than people think you give him credit for. I know some people think like Gergs, our buddy Gergs, thought, excuse me, he's more just a coordinator. I disagree. I think Kevin proved this year he can run a team and be a CEO and manage a team pretty well. I mean, they consider all the circumstances they had.
And then they never quit on him, yeah.
Quit on him, and the team was always up to play. So I just think at times the inconsistencies, maybe because of that. He's a young coach figuring out on the fly. And like I said in my last show on Friday, too, it took Andy Reid. Andy Reid took the head coaching job in Philly at the age of 40. I think it's right around the same age. I think Kevin might be 38, 39 even.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So Kevin's still younger than Andy Reid. And it took Andy Reid 20 years as a head coach and a play caller to, win a Super Bowl doing so. It doesn't mean he was great in Philly. It's just it takes a long time. I think the situation, the climate of where the Browns are, they have to win now with Deshaun and the contract and money. I think there's a lot of pressure. I think Kevin's and the organization done the right thing so far. That's why I think Dorsey will play caller. I agree. I think Flacco makes all the right points about it. So I'm curious your take.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Ken Dorsey calling the plays, but I'm still unsure if Stefanski so much is going to give up play calling duties as much as Ken Dorsey is going to help shape the new offense. Because you have two guys who we both thought that wouldn't join the Browns unless they had some sort of say over coordinating and play calling, which is Ken Dorsey, and the tight ends coach. His name is escaping me, Tommy Reese, who's the OC from Bama. So you have two guys who are pretty good offensive minds, specifically in the pass. So I think more so, if anything, like if Ken Dorsey calls the plays, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. If Kevin Stefanski calls the plays, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing because Ken Dorsey's pass success rate is great. His run game, not so much. Now, even though the Bills' offense did get worse after Ken Dorsey left, the run game got much better. So I don't know.
Yeah, he likes to call a lot of shotgun. So I think when you call that much, a lot of times your running backs are going east and west rather than north and south.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
I
he'll
don't know.
call a lot more pistol with Deshaun, which will
Yeah, I
create
think
that. And
so.
I think too. I don't think this is gonna be a complete turnover. I think Kevin will keep some of those running schemes.
Oh yeah,
You
absolutely.
want to be able,
I
I
mean,
think
that's
they have a more. I think they'll have a more balanced approach now offensively, with more of the passing game, which more fits Deshaun. Less play action for Deshaun. Let him more do so what he does best.
right. And I agree with that. And I think, Ken Dorsey is, he's still very young. He was very young in his OC career before, the Bills canned him.
Yeah.
He was personally selected by Josh Allen, who does a lot of the same things that Deshaun does well. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Do I think Kevin's going to be giving up play calling? I'm probably at like 50-50 right now. I could see it going either way, and I don't think either way is a bad thing, because I think the offense, no matter what, if any of these hires have told you anything, it's that the offense is going to evolve no matter who has the play sheet in their hand. So whether it's Kevin or Ken, it's going to be a new offense next year. Like there's, AVP who does the Kubiak system really well, who did a lot of the same things Kevin did well, is no longer in the room. TC McCartney, who's a Kubiak guy, no longer in the room. Stump Mitchell, who's an outside zone running scheme kind of guy, no longer in the room. You have a lot more fresh takes, fresh minds. And then we retained Bill Musgrave, who's going to be in his second year, who's kind of run air raids wherever he's at. So with that room being the way it is, I'm confident that whoever's calling the plays, whoever has the play sheet in their hand, it's going to be a new offense tailored to Deshaun and whoever the personnel that we bring in. And kind of goes on to what I want to talk about next, just personnel.
Let's do it.
Oh, it's my favorite. Senior Bowl week, baby. I'm all about the Senior Bowl. So the Browns, if y'all don't know what the Senior Bowl is, the Senior Bowl is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bowl for college kids, and they go out there and they do drills and they play a game against each other and they show their talents, their skills, guys that might not be first rounders, mid-round.
Mobile, Alabama.
Out there in Mobile, second round down guys. Like these are guys that are, trying to improve their draft stock. That's why they go to the Senior Bowl. And the Browns, like I said, have picked 2 to 3 players every year from the Senior Bowl. Last year, DeJuan Jones, Senior Bowl. Cedric Tillman, Senior Bowl. Ronnie Hickman Jr., Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl. They love dudes from the Senior Bowl. Why? Because they're going up against very similarly talented guys. The Browns don't have a high draft pick, so they very much keen in and onto this. And the one thing from what I've seen is this draft class might be way deeper at receiver than I had initially thought, because you have probably 5 guys that everybody can name off the top of their head. You got Marv, got Rome, Malik Neighbors, Keon Coleman, and Brian Thomas Jr. Probably your top 5. And you can, and Troy Franklin might be a fringe first round guy. I mean, I've seen mocks where he goes into the first. So, I mean, there's a ton of wide receiver talent. And I want to talk about some guys who I think the Browns should be interested in. To start, who has had one of the most, especially in drills, they're doing one-on-ones, receivers versus corners this week or yesterday. And one guy who has been unguardable. Gergs will love to hear this, is Roman Wilson out of Michigan. He has been completely unguardable, just running free, catching everything. No corner has been able to stop this guy at all. He's been incredibly impressive. And that's one of those things that you don't really expect to see out of a wide receiver from Michigan. But he's one of those guys who I thought would be a 3rd to 5th round talent, but if he keeps this up, his draft stock is rising. He's taller. He's about 6'1", 6'2". He's strangely fast from what I've been seeing. So he might be a guy to watch for the Browns. I don't know if they're going to try and target more slot in the draft over wide receiver 2 and then go after wide receiver 2 in free agency. I still don't know how they're going to kind of attack that. But if they go for slot, there are a couple of other guys that have looked very, very good.
Well, Roman Wilson runs I just looked it up. He runs a 4.37.
Yeah.
So he's pretty fast. And he was a high volume guy there at Michigan. I mean, made some big plays in clutch moments.
Yeah.
I just don't think they didn't really value throwing the ball a lot because they had such a great run game and that was their bread and butter. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I wasn't as high on him because I don't think he just got enough volume at Michigan. I mean, he still had a great season. Obviously, he was their top player on the perimeter, but he's got his chance now at the Senior Bowl and he's shining. I think him and I think the other guy we've mentioned, Jacob Cohen. But I think the guy, because I think in free agency, I could see them targeting a guy like Hollywood Brown, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I think a guy like Brendan Rice would make sense to put on the outside, the more bigger body receiver. But he can also create separation. He can really, I mean, he's got a great catch radius. I mean, his dad's obviously the Hall of Famer, maybe the greatest, probably the greatest receiver of all time. That's who he's trained by. So I like Brendan Rice slot, but I'm really mad at Roman Wilson. Like you said, in the slot, I think he would do just fine.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the slot guy who I would like to see the Browns draft, if they decide to go like a Hollywood Brown on the outside or somebody big and fast, like a trade for DK Metcalf, or if they manage to get to
Calvin Ridley
or Calvin. It doesn't sound like Calvin Ridley is going anywhere from all the reports I've read.
They would let him leave.
I mean, he wasn't like star-shatteringly good, but he had over 1,000 yards.
He had a bad season. I think they just had a bad.
Yeah, it was a weird season, and my Trevor Lawrence hate was well placed. We'll see where it goes, but like I told you he might be a little fraudulent. But I'm not gonna get into that. Maybe next season. Maybe next season, if he lays another egg of a season, I'll just be. I told you. I'll be on the streets.
If he lays another egg next season, they're still messed up. Out of big concern. Yeah. So, but go ahead.
But the guy who I want to talk about is Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. And he has been like his route running, he's extremely twitchy. Like you'll just see him just like break free, like easily get separation. I think he could be a guy, he's not super fast. I think he ran like a 4.4, 4.5, something like that. But extremely twitchy. He would be pretty good in the slot. And with David Bell not really being that, there's something weird with him. Like they don't give him a lot of reps for a reason. And with Elijah Moore just being weirdly like this tweener kind of guy that, had a decent season, but like not the breakout that you wanted to have, being our de facto wide receiver 2. If you want to upgrade the slot, I'd say Ladd McConkey or Malachi Corley, who's both had really good Senior Bowls. I think Ladd McConkey is probably a little bit better.
I like Ladd a lot. He's played a lot. He's played. He stepped up a lot of their big games and played really well, and then obviously played the SEC. So he played a lot of those big games. I like Ladd. I think it's kind of interesting to talk about the slot like that because we thought, like you said, with Elijah. But I think Elijah maybe in a different system might be a little better. He started to come alive there at the end of the season when the quarterback play was really good with Flacco. I thought he was starting to find his role a little bit, and they started opening it up a little bit more. But yeah, I could see that McConkey, although I kind of him or Wilson. But like I said, I'm gonna stick with Rice because I think if you get Hollywood Brown, you can put him inside or outside. You can put him in the slot a little bit because he's got that kind of speed and separation. So.
Right. And
I think they'll do a lot of that motion. You can move Amari inside even at times for certain matchups. I mean, I think they're going to do a lot of that. I think finding that bigger, like 6'3", 6'4" guy like Brendan Rice with a high catch rate, I think that's what they need. And they need somebody that can come in behind Amari down the pipe. So I think that's going to be key too.
I think the biggest thing for them right now, right, is like helping the team now, but also preparing for the future.
Right.
Because I think I don't know if they're going to pay Elijah Moore. I really don't. I don't think they are.
Would you right now? I mean, I wouldn't.
I mean, he's probably like a 314 kind of guy right now, 315 maybe. Elijah, he had a good season, but he didn't have a great season. Mm-hmm. I'd like to. the way the Browns operate and the way Andrew Berry operates, I wouldn't be surprised. Amari Cooper's, I don't know if he's going to get extended as much as we like him here. I think if they can get a guy like T, or if they can get a guy like DK that they can be the long-term X receiver and run those routes, they'll probably go slot in the draft, because you still have, and they'll probably have Cedric Tillman run, the 2 at that point moving forward, because if anything, Andrew Berry likes to plan for the future while helping now. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Jacob Coing hasn't had a really impressive Senior Bowl.
I'm more on Brendan Rice now. That's the guy I like, because he's.
I like Brendan Rice.
He's 6'3", 210. And he runs a 4.3, and he has he just has intangibles and knowledge of the game. Like you can plug and play. He'll be a guy you can plug and play right away, because he'll know how to. He knows the NFL, obviously, because I think that's the kind of guy you want, ideally, a kid that you can plug and play. I think that's what they wanted Tillman to be. Now, I don't think it was all Tillman's fault. He had 5 different QBs, whatever it was, like 4. And he didn't play his last year in college either. He was injured the whole year. So last year was like his first year back and welcome to the NFL. So, but I think Brendan Rice, because I really do think, Hollywood Brown's probably going to be the guy they sign. The more I think he's going to be the most realistic, because I honestly want T. That could happen. I think they want T, but I just don't know how the Bengals are going to franchise tag him.
I really, I kind of talked about that before. I think that's a real possibility.
And I don't think Mike Evans is going to leave Tampa. If you're going to pay Baker that kind of money, I think you have to keep Mike there.
They're not.
I don't know. We'll see, but
they're not going to franchise tag Mike. So Mike gave them essentially a deadline. Him and his agent did. I don't know if you remember, in the middle of the season before the trade deadline, and not like hey, pay me or trade me. Like, Mike's a professional, and he basically said, hey, pay me by this deadline, extend me, or I played here a long time, Super Bowl winner with you guys. If you don't pay me, that's fine. I want to go sign somewhere and try and get another ring. And they didn't pay him. And they're not going to franchise tag him. And so Mike Evans is a true free agent. So I could see them paying Mike. I would pay Mike immediately.
I think they'll pay Mike. If he doesn't, though, he's been linked to the Jets, which that'd be kind of interesting with Rodgers. So,
but it depends on what kind of, what kind of wagon he wants to hitch his horse to, so to speak. Because, our QB was hurt too, and he only played 6 games, but that's more than 1 snap. I think if you're going to bring back Mayfield down there, you probably should bring back Mike. So they're not going to. And I don't even know for sure if they're going to bring back Baker, because the Tampa's, since Mike's gone, you're in this weird transitive state where your defense is going to be all right. You lost your OC. I'd almost rock with Kyle Trask instead of winning 7 or 8 games and winning the division periodically and just sticking to mediocrity.
That's the thing, though. If you're Tampa, I think how far they got is how far Baker will take them. Divisional
exactly.
Round. He's a divisional round guy. That's what he is. And when you need him at the end of the game,
he's never gonna get farther than that.
He's not gonna get.
It doesn't matter who's around him.
Right. It's just I don't know if Lamar Jackson ever had that shot again to get back to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's as close. I mean, you look at their team. It's tough. I mean, it is tough. So you got to be an elite passer. Some guys are great. They can throw the ball, but you got to be an elite passer. You got to be a clutch guy in money time. And, Baker hasn't proven that to get out of the division round. And if I can get Jaden Daniels down there in Tampa in that warm weather with a new OC to work with, I think that's pretty tempting to me, because I think Jaden Daniels would be great.
I do too, but I don't know how he would play in Tampa, since he's going to be playing anywhere else. Probably in Atlanta, I'd say.
Maybe
Atlanta makes the most sense.
But I mean, if I get him, or even a Michael Penix, if I had to sit him for a year and develop him, and maybe go get a veteran, that's what I mean. Because like you said, I think the OC leaving is going to be interesting. It is interesting because I don't know who they'll replace him with. I think he was a big part of why they were good this year, obviously, and he was able to get the Baker like nobody ever has. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. But going back to the Browns, I think out of the receivers, though, I still like Brendan Rice, because the size and speed combination to me is what we need. We need the versatility. And I think you get a guy like Hollywood Brown in free agency. I really like that combo.
I like that a lot too. And it also depends what they do, because like everybody says, Andrew's going to be super aggressive in the draft. So if we draft up into the or trade up, I'm sorry, into the late first, like
Brian Thomas Jr.
Like Brian Thomas Jr. or Keon Coleman might be there. Oh, yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. And here's the thing that Andrew Berry has never been secretive about. He loves dudes out of LSU.
Mm-hmm.
If he could draft a full team if he could just draft the LSU team every year, he would.
The Browns like it. I mean, how many guys did Dorsey take his whole and trade for? I mean, it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We love.
Yeah, we like LSU guys up here for some reason.
Yeah, LSU and Ohio State guys is like who generally, especially like those guys that go to like the Senior Bowl that are like fringe guys. I mean, like how many Tigers has Andrew Berry drafted? Like Jacob Phillips, Grant Delpit.
He drafted
Brady Williams.
Well, he was in the building though. Because he didn't leave for Philly, I don't think, till because he was here the first time as a role. They got Jarvis and all those guys and Greedy, and I think he was gone in that period. But
Odell,
who could be another option as a veteran? Who knows? But I don't know about that. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I think they got to get the receiver. What they did to the D-line room last year is what I expect them to do with the receiver room this year, especially with the new coordinator now. So.
Oh yeah,
you're not gonna make
with the whole offense. I wouldn't be surprised if we pick up a running back, honestly, through the draft or free agency. I think it's going to be free agency for running back, just because the pool there is very, very good. And I think Andrew is not afraid to pay a running back money. And like we would find a way.
You got to find somebody. You'll still have. I don't think they're actually going to cut Chubb personally.
I don't think they're going to cut him. I think
it'll be a reconstruction of the contract. I don't think if you're Chubb, you don't really want to go fresh start, and you don't want a fresh start injury.
I don't think that's gonna be what's gonna happen. I think more so. Excuse me. I think more so. The Browns want another vet just in case the injury.
Somebody who's going to fit the scheme too.
Yeah,
the new scheme. You have to get a running back that could fit the gun more. Basically,
I think so. Yeah, I think there are a couple guys who are interesting. DeAndre Swift, Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler probably makes the most sense to me. And he'll probably be the most affordable because he kind of had a down year, but I still think he can play. And
he's good. Him with Kareem, because Austin Eckler, I'd be surprised they let him go though.
I mean, they already kind of did.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, they're not paying Austin.
I mean, I know they got Harbaugh, so but
they'll just draft Blake Corum.
Yeah, probably. But that's I mean, you got to get somebody to hit that outside like that out of the shotgun. If they got Austin Eckler somehow, I don't know how realistic that is, but or somebody with similar skill set, that's what they need. A pass catcher, somebody can hit the outside, is fast.
Austin Eckler is probably the best pass catching back in the league, if you ask me.
I mean, I'd be surprised they let him go, but here the Browns did try to engage with Jonathan Taylor, and you knew if you got him, you probably had to pay him long term as well, probably. So they've flirted with another running back. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think if you got Eckler with Kareem or with Nick Chubb, that would be unreal. I don't know how realistic it is, but
I mean, they tried for DeAndre Swift. They tried to trade for DeAndre Swift in the draft last year.
I think that because he's a free agent, I believe, right? So
and it looks like they're not going to pay him.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. So I think that'll probably be more realistic. DeAndre with Chubb, which is still really good. I mean, I think DeAndre Swift is is he a Georgia guy too?
Yes.
So. Yeah, so you got the Georgia guys back there. Still have Jerome Ford, who I still think it will be fine with maybe with the new running back coach. He's shown flashes of what he can be.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I just think, in the event that Chubb goes down or isn't needs more time to heal, or maybe he starts the season, but he has to limit the amount of carries. I'd rather have a guy back there like a DeAndre Swift who can play RB1 if you really need him to, or an Austin Eckler who could play RB1 if you really need him to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over Jerome Ford, who had a pretty decent season as far as pass catching, but my God, that kid's vision needs help.
There was
So,
a report this morning, though, that Eckler is linked to the Ravens, that they're going to pursue him, so he is going to be out there. So, I mean,
that makes sense considering Dobbins is gone, and so is Gus Edwards.
That could be another name, though. I mean, Dobbins healthy, though. I think still it can give you.
I don't know, man. He's been that's two season ending injuries, and then he was out like 2 back-to-back season ending injuries, and the year before that he had an injury that he was out half the season with. I don't know, man. That's
I like JK all day, but
I just
with the injuries.
I just think like JK is probably, I don't want to say he's probably going to retire. I'm not going to say that. Someone's going to sign him, but I think his time is very limited.
Maybe it's tough,
which is why I'm kind of scared about Nick Chubb. Like, if anybody can come back from it, it is Nick Chubb. But like, it's a rough injury, man, that he's coming back from. So that's why Swift. I mean, hell. I mean, I highly the third option, and this is the most unlikely, is Saquon is out there, but again,
I think he's actually going to leave New York.
They're not paying him. Kayvon Thibodeau has been upset about it. They're not paying him.
I'm going to say Saquon somehow gets his way on the Rams. I'm just going to say that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, here's the thing. Like, I think the Bills would like overpay for him. Like, James Cook has proved he can be a great running back, but like if they're like, we can have James Cook and Saquon Barkley. But here's the thing I'm kind of getting at too is like the Browns have no shortage of free agent running backs to choose from. Like, no shortage. Deontay Foreman, free agent. DeAndre Swift, free agent. Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders. I mean, there are dudes out there that they can pick up if they want.
Well, you got serviceable guys that you can plug and play, veterans, which they need. Yeah, and like I said, you got to get some guys with different skill set to fit whatever the new scheme is, especially out of.
I think Miles Sanders would be a good addition. I mean, hell.
Yeah.
So they don't have any short of options. I really do think they'll go veteran running back in free agency. But on to where I think they're going to also draft. We're talking about tight ends.
Damn.
We're talking about tight ends. We're drafting one. We might draft 2.
You think so?
Dog, we ain't Harrison Bryant is gonzo. Gone girl. See you. Bye-bye. Jordan Akins, cut. Get him out. He was bad. They were both bad this year. And congratulations. We paid the right tight end, finally. After all this time, we got our franchise tight end. Congratulations to my boy, David Njoku, who has probably become one of my favorite players on the team, has embraced the city, embraced the team. We love you, David. Glad you're here for the long haul. But my God, that guy needs some help in that freaking room, man. He needs some. Get him some milk. Get him some help. Look at an Iowa tight end. Look at an Iowa tight end, for the love of God. I'm telling you, they know how to grow them in Iowa. Look at Sam Laporta, bro. They've been insane. The other cat out of Iowa, Tucker Kraft, great season. I mean, my God, there's so many dudes out of Iowa, and there's I think his name was Cade Stover's available.
State, I think could be a really interesting option.
Him, the cat out of Iowa, whose name is escaping me. Oh my God, what is his name? He's been in so many mock drafts.
I'll look it up.
Look it up for me.
Iowa always has good offensive linemen and tight ends.
Dude, they can grow. They grow tight ends like they grow corn out there, bro.
Yeah,
there's some thoroughbreds out there.
I think who is the next one in line? I gotta look it up. But yeah, so you think tight end? Who is a free agents? Maybe you think they could look at?
We are not taking a free agent tight end. I'll tell you that right. No, there's nobody. There ain't nobody out there. All the good tight ends are paid or young.
Well, there's Luke Lachey, I believe, and Eric.
That's who it was. Luke Lachey or
Lachey, whatever. I'll ask. I have an Iowa fan. A family member of mine, so I'll ask him.
Yeah, he's a dog, and him and Brevin Smith Ford out of Minnesota and Cade Stover, I'd look at all three of those guys as possible targets for the Browns. They can block, they can pass catch, you can do some crazy things with them. I like Cade Stover and probably Luke Leachy the most. We are drafting a tight end, and then we usually keep 3, so I wouldn't be surprised if we drafted 2.
Now Luke
And,
Leachy is coming off an injury. He only played the first 3 games this year. I think we're thinking of the wrong guy, actually, Mike. I think it's Eric.
No, that's the right name.
Because he didn't really do a whole lot his second year. Yeah, Eric All is the guy we're thinking of. He's their top tight end.
Eric All.
This year. Although both are from Ohio. All's from Fairfield. Lakey's from Columbus. This year, though, how many games did he play? Both of them actually missed the year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with those two guys. Yeah, because you wonder, because they usually produce tight ends really well, but both are coming off season-ending injuries. So
Brevin Smith-Ford is another big one, or
yeah,
Cade Stover.
I think Cade Stover would be the guy I would look for. Cade showed this year a lot more of display, and Cade showed that he can play different ways. He can play, when Ohio State at times with more play action this year with Kyle McCord, because you add to more of that system, and then he also played in the wides, more spread with C.J. Stroud, and he showed he could be good in that. Cade gives you a lot of versatility. He's a bigger body, but he can move, he can catch. He's really good catch radius. Probably can work on his blocking a little bit more, but I think when he tries on the run blocking, he can really bulldoze dudes. He's a real physical kid, so I like Stover a lot. But yeah, I mean, probably would have to draft a tight end. That's a good point. I think that and probably linebacker would be probably another one. I think
linebacker is probably our biggest need.
I like Omar Spates at
in
LSU.
general. I know you do. I watched his tape. And he seems like a dude that Andrew Berry would draft.
Very fast.
But if I wouldn't be surprised if we double up in the second round and get 2 second-round picks if we don't draft up or trade up into the first. I keep saying draft up. If we don't trade up into the first and we have to double up, we should. I've already said his name a couple times. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is my highest graded running back, or I'm sorry, linebacker
out of Clemson.
Out of Clemson. He is a dog, can cover, can tackle. He is insane.
2 forced fumbles and 2 picks this year.
Yeah, he's a dog, dude. And the only downside to him is that he is probably going to go up the draft boards and might be out of the Browns' radius. There's another guy, Edgerrin Cooper, out of Texas A&M. Absolute dog. He would also be a very, very welcome addition to the Browns. And my third pick would probably be Jalen Ford out of Texas. Is another name to watch.
I got my sleeper guy. He's a D lineman. He's kind of a tweener a little bit. He's 6'1", 250. And we watched him when Colorado was hot earlier in the year. I think this guy's got an NFL talent written all over him. He's an older guy. He might be in the Senior Bowl actually. Muhammad Kamara out of Colorado State. I think 13 sacks this year, 2 forced fumbles. I think he's going to be a guy. When you watched him in that game too, granted it was 1 game, but he still produced the rest of the season. Had double-digit sacks. He's just a dude to me. I think he's one of those guys you can get in the late rounds, maybe your last pick of the draft, or maybe 5th, 6th round. That's a guy I really would like. I think he would fit Schwartz's scheme well. His athleticism. He showed a lot of physicality. He's a dog. I like him a lot. I think he's got NFL all written all over him, obviously. But you know what I mean? I think he can really be an actual impact player on your team.
Right. And another area that I think the Browns are going to look at is defensive interior. Couple name. I mean, I could talk forever about that. I mean, it's Byron Murphy's out there. Byron Murphy, the second out of Texas. Michael Hall out of Ohio State.
From Streetsboro, a high school from Streetsboro, actually. So shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Michael Hall, maybe a future Brown. There's a couple guys, though. And also, I mean, there's a ton of free agents out there. I do think that they bring back one of our defensive interior, but we're definitely going to have to draft. I think Shelby Harris is gone. I think Siaki Ika is going to be the de facto run stopper from nose tackle from here on out. Jordan Elliott's gone. I do think they bring back Mo Hurst on another 1-year deal, and I think they can get him relatively cheap since he did have a season-ending injury, and they really, really liked him in the locker room. And the Browns do care about that. So with Jordan and Shelby leaving, so you have a second-year guy in Siaki stepping up. You still have Dalvin Tomlinson under contract for a long, long time. Hopefully you can bring back Mo Hurst, who out of the three is who I'd bring back. You hope to draft, at least one, or maybe bring someone in free agency. Obviously, you got the big names like Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins available. But then you have some guys you can draft as well. And Michael Hall could be available in the third round.
I like Mike Hall a lot. I'm going to go out on a limb, though. I think one guy will be back just because of his age, and he's a veteran. And I think guys at this late in their career, and he was a big impact. I think one of the league leaders to deflect the pass. I think Shelby Harris is a good shot. He actually does come back. I don't think he's just going to pack his bag and roll. I think, like I said, the stage of his career, he was a great fit in the scheme, made some big plays. I wouldn't be surprised they somehow got him back, and I would like that.
I'd like it too. It really depends what they want to do, right? Because you can't keep them all, can't pay everybody. So,
they're not in a rush, though. I don't think to rush out some of the younger guys because Siaki didn't really get any run until the end of the season,
right?
You got to win now, so that's part of it too. I get you want to, but we're also not a farm, so we don't want to be a farm team. We want to be a team that's trying to win now because that's what we're set up to do. We have our core pieces, so I wouldn't be surprised if guys like that came back though. But I get what you're saying. I think Mike Hall, though, going back to the draft, I think would be a really good pickup. I think he would fit well in that scheme. 3 tech guy. He can really get.
I do think they bring back somebody. I just think the guy that makes the most sense is Mo Hurst because I think Siaki they'll be confident that Siaki can do what Shelby Harris did. That's my only thing.
Well, I like too. Siaki had a guy he can lean on as a rookie, and just watch. Even if he wasn't he just watched every day, watch his craft, watch how he operates. You know what I mean? And so, I think Siaki's still gonna be a pretty good player. I think last year he had the guys to get in better shape, which he did. They've been working on that. But late in the season, though, when he came in the game, he looked pretty good at times, made some impact plays. So he's getting back there. So it'll be interesting what happens.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it, and we're gonna be doing mock drafts all the time, people. So you gotta you gotta subscribe, you gotta share the video with everybody, your cat, your dog, your mailman, your neighbor, your mistress, your wife, everybody. So.
Your wife, everybody, yeah, spread the word. You know what I mean?
Spread the word.
You got any more questions, Mike? I didn't get the outline, so I'm not sure how many questions you had.
No, I really just wanted to get deep into the Senior Bowl, sink my teeth in it, talk about the Browns' needs a little bit more because we are in draft mode officially. We're in the time of the year where. It's just, this is my favorite part, just looking at the Senior Bowl when the combine rolls around, see who kind of raises up the standings. Kalijah Cansey did and Nolan Smith. This is where legends are made, Dalton Kincaid, all those cats that just became first round picks.
Trey Tucker last year, actually.
Trey Tucker became a dog, but
he was a dog in high school. But I got one thing, though, before we get out of here. We'll do this, Mike. I want to try something. We're going to give you guys, it says on the top left there, we're more than anxiety. Mike and I have talked about our past with mental health and some of our stories. Mike shared his testimony on the first show he ever came on. That crazy. That was May. I saw it yesterday. It was May 10th, 2022. Is that long? Almost 2 years since we
I got so many more grays than I did then.
That's crazy. But I got a question, Mike. We'll do this for the people. And Mr. 216, shout out to new subscriber. He's also works in mental health. He was on our chat the other night.
Shout out. Thank you for the
support. We got a lot of people with kind of like us with sports and the mental health realm and spiritual realm watching. So we love all you guys. Appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
We'll end on this. What are some ways, Mike, I think a lot of the things I see nowadays is people what causes anxiety, especially for myself in my past, and where if I have moments now, because I don't really consider myself an anxiety sufferer anymore. I'm not. I'm beyond it now. It's my past. I went through therapy back in the spring. I did a program with the anxiety guy. Check it out, the Inner Circle program. Mike went through his spell last year and overcame it. We worked together a lot. What are some things, Mike, that helped you? Because my main point was a lot of times with anxiety sufferers, a lot of times we try to project the past into the future.
Mhm.
And we live in the past. And a lot of times we're living off of past memories, past, like I remember where I was a year ago, and this week in particular, around this certain time, end of the January, I went through one of the hardest weeks of my life. Couldn't sleep for like a week, horrible anxiety. And I've thought about it, this week. It's kind of like you think back on it, but I don't pay attention to it anymore because I'm like, I'm not the same person I was back then.
Right.
That's my past now. I'm a different
Right.
person now. The things I was holding on to back then, I'm a way different person I was a year ago, especially 2 years ago. We started this in 2022.
Right.
There was a lot of
That's
new
crazy.
things. I look back now and I'm like, yeah, I'm not that person anymore. But especially the way I interact with people, and I had to kind of grow out of my like social anxiety and stuff. But what are some things that have helped you, Mike, not look back in the past, but stay more in the present and the future?
Actually, your dad says something all the time that really kind of helps me, and it's been helping me now. The past couple of like 3-4 weeks, control what you can control, and just stay focused on the things that really matter, which is like, for me, it's my wife, my friends, my family. I got two new nieces.
Shout out to them.
Oh yeah, shout out to Violet, who was just born yesterday. I didn't tell you that, did I? Yeah, my other sister just had her baby.
Oh wow, yeah. So Mike's now uncle of two nieces.
Two nieces,
right?
Yeah, two nieces, Leia and Violet. And Violet is a chonky baby. She chonky. But yeah, so like just focusing on things that really, really matter to me, and like what helped me too is at least going back, last year when I was really going through it is, as anxiety sufferers, we really worry about, how medication will affect us, and we're all really wary about medication, but never be afraid if you think, that's what you need, and your psychiatrist and your support structure think that that's something that could be beneficial to you.
Doctor. Disclaimer: we're not medical experts.
We are not medical experts. Ask your doctor, obviously. That's why I said if your psychiatrist, your medical professional thinks it's something that could be beneficial to helping your mental health, they know best. I'm not a psychiatrist. My psychiatrist is, and he suggested one medication, and I've been taking it now for almost a year, and it's done wonders, and it, sometimes people need that, and it's not like
or you go like me. I do more.
Or you can go holistic. There's nothing wrong with either or.
Again,
right?
ask your consult a physician or a doctor. We're not medical experts. I'm just saying what I do for me. A year ago at this time, when I came out of that week, I readjusted a lot of my CBD and dosages. Good CBD, all natural, clean, and that's really helped me tremendously in a year, and helped other people as well in my family with chronic anxiety for years. So
but ask your doctor. And that's another thing. That's the biggest thing if you're suffering from it. No matter what kind of help, don't be afraid to ask for it. Whether it's
and once you get the reassurance one time, move on. Like we said, don't look in the past. And I think what's helped me too, more than anything, the last year, what's helped probably Mike and I together, why I love having Mike as a friend, because we call each other almost every day, because that's kind of how we are. It's good to have, you always need friends like that. You know what I mean? So, because a lot of times we're just chilling out anyways at the crib, so especially at night. But finding that community, understanding you're not alone. You know what I mean? I think that's another thing. I think part of my anxiety in my past was when I came out of that situation at 15 years old. I lost a lot of trust in people, didn't feel comfortable around people, which is pretty much that was the cause of my agoraphobia all those years, and staying in the house, not wanting to leave, but once you project safety visually, and you start to practice it, and you surrender to those anxiety feelings, and you accept it, you understand what it is, ain't no looking back. You know what I mean? So I think that's something, like I said, a lot of people struggle with just society nowadays. We're always looking in the past. I think social media does that to us. It tries to get us down and in our emotions and tap in those feelings, but your feelings and emotions are just feelings and emotions. They could be wrong. Doesn't mean you should let them dictate your feelings and your actions. So I just wanted to get into that. Appreciate you, Mike, for getting into that, because I remember where I was a year ago at this time, so I want to share that message with you guys. If I can do it in a year, Mike can do it in a year, so can you guys. So
absolutely,
there's contact down below. You can reach me. Hit up our boy, the anxiety guy, who's also in Toronto right now. Shout out to Dennis, right by us. So
Big Ronto.
he's up in Toronto right now. But plenty of resources. We can help you guys out. Feel free to hit us up, and we love helping you guys. But yeah, you got anything else, Mike, on this fine Tuesday? Hopefully the sun comes out this week. That'd be nice.
Yeah. So need some vitamin D.
Yeah, we're almost there.
That's
one more month. Crazy. We're already almost to February.
Yeah. I'm a birthday. I'm 28 years old in a week.
Dang, 28.
Old man.
I'm 24. I'll be 25 in September. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird, but
You're gonna see way more
my
wrinkles.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think the vitamins are helping though. The water. I think that's helping. And I'm telling you, I think it is. But yeah, go Cavs too. Cavs are rolling right now.
We are rolling.
Big game
Yeah,
tomorrow
go Cavs.
night. Darius is back, so that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
Draft
yeah.
season. Go Browns.
Go Browns. But go Buckeyes.
Like, subscribe, and
Ryan
share.
Day's killing it as well. Go Bucks. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Like, subscribe, share all the good stuff. We're out of here.
We're out of here. Bye.
Wow.